back-to-back benches with the wild gremlins, Gordier style lenses, talents in the 40 cal lenses. Life now, let me find out you want the lifestyle of mine. No pal of mine, running with gold with night rules from jail time. Got the squad looking like tycoon. We all shine while we poly with the flies mommy on 25th Street. Watch a honey in the Lex do it. I'm in the 6 feet with the 12 next to it. You wanna stick me, then put your best to it. I die black, we see you in the law kingdom. You try that, check the fly cat 2.5, multiply that. Cash rules on my arm, my flash jewels and tattoos. You can look but don't touch me, bad news.
Or elegant me, elegancy, treasury. With the hopes to be rich before they bury me. On the Baptist, but moved on to how you practice. My fire ashes, only max I answer back with. We on dawn, strong arm, a long arm. But if it's what we on, coming for niggas who force me wrong. Select features, sit back, connect the pieces, inject the thesis. Spoke to my pops, left speechless. He showed me pride, going through worlds that wore me out, never bore me out. Bitches and money, that's what we all about. All about landing here. Beach houses with the chandelier, me and my crew, mad cans of beers, coping, live vibe, feel eyes open, it's clear. Presidential suites at the cashier.
How you living on your block?
Mine's is hot. How you living on your block?
I got it locked. What's going down on your side? Who got shot?
Same shit, done.
Yeah, right, I'll meet you up top.
Yo, it's hard to shake this feeling that I might get knocked.
Done, you know we don't stop, we can't close up shop.
BBS, nothing less than how we steppin'. Cool kiddin', cuties with it, sleazy dressin'. See me flexin', through the hood, these be stressin'. Illegal search, trying to find weapons for gun possession. Never want for questions, every move made a destined. Black investors, let's take it back to the essence. Another version of the movie, mad pimp serving. Convince the urban, Project Ghetto, Prince of Virgin. Half Hispanic, hollow chips, massive damage. The path was granted, loaded gas, plastic cannon. Chipped up, live by morals, don't get it mixed up. This what? Millionaire strut with the crisp cut, switched up, slow going, gold showing, dough flowing, eyes don't lie, hoes knowing, main attraction, latest love in the latest fashion, trained the mackin', never rockin' gators flashing, assorted wear, AZ Pearl, extraordinaire, making for severe, locking shit down, all this shit.
Nowhere to go from here but the top of the spear. Nothing stopping us here, we locking us here with the black toaster. By my hip bone, fuck a holster. See me at the copa, platinum choker, the guards with me. Mad blood smoke, it's hard to miss me. Pick 1 out of 2 dimes to twist me. You nines is crispy. Mine on chips, rhyme on shit that's strictly made for catchy tricks. Excuse me, is that your bitch in my 6? Turning up the volume when she hear my hits on her more mad flicks. Now you want me blasted, but don't get it confused over this rap shit. Kinda lace, looking at diamonds in my onyx face. Voice the perpetual rolling with the day and date. Y'all player hate this. 2 flop for female singers who get facelifts and big titties. We rule the world and take cities. I dreamed of the sun, happy we made it past the Jake's face and pains in the slum. How you living on your block?
Mine's is hot. How you living on your block?
I got it locked. What's going down on your side? Who got shot?
Same shit, done.
Yeah, right, I'll meet you up top.
Yo, it's hard to shake this feeling that I might get knocked.
Done, you know we don't stop, we can't close up shop. What?
It's a double bag, niggas know the game don't change. From the cocaine to the cocaine, flow right here.
Fucking no name.
Did it again, son, they can't fuck with that. Gang don't stop. Okay.
Told you that, yeah.
Peace, peace. What's going on in the chat room, man? Shout out to everybody that's joining me today. Um, we're gonna chop it up about a few things, man. You know, I'm not going to hold y'all long. Appreciate everybody for joining me. Salute to the Dom Game Division. You know how we do. All about games. What's going on, Kay? What's going on, Tony? Esoteric, Tiger. You know, Amiri, Joseph, Wayne. You know, Camaro. I got the savages in the building today, man. So I may even drop the link, man, because I'm gonna let the apes loose, man. What's going on, Kenneth Thomas? Tierra Love, Incognito, Boy Wonder, you know, Michael Love. Uh yeah, man. I may just let the apes loose today, man. We'll see. Um, hot topic, man. Hot topic. The Pookie and Ray Ray debate. You know, I realized months ago. Y'all pardon me, man. My allergies are killing me. What's going on, Renzel? Salute, fam. Um, I realized months ago the Pookie and Ray Ray debate and the educated lame debate. That's not my fight, man. I'll be honest. That's just not my fight. You know, it seems to be some division between those two groups. We're gonna get into a couple things, but that's just not my beef. You know, y'all can have that. They ain't even what I'm mad at. You know what I mean? Yo, make sure y'all hydrate. Y'all know how we do, Dom Game Division. Make sure you hydrate, niggas. You know, ladies too. Make sure y'all hydrate, clear up your skin. Like I was saying, yeah, back to the topic. You know, I realized that that's just not my fight. You know, and one of the things that I noticed in my dealings in the black sector of YouTube, man, is you know, the women are part of that debate. You know, we're not gonna play with that, man. You know, we're not gonna tiptoe past this topic anymore. You know, we're gonna dive deep into these conversations as they arise. And yeah, the women are the focal point of that conversation. Now, the reason that I said that's not my beef, y'all can have that. They ain't even what I'm mad at. The reason why I say that, because how would you classify a guy like myself? You know, I'm not a Pookie and Ray Ray or educated lane. You know, I come from the inner city. Um, Joined the army when I was 17. Got out, got my degree. You know what I'm saying? I can talk to a hood chick the same way I can talk to a college educated female. You know, I don't have those kind of issues, and that's why I say I'm backing out of that whole beef. You know, I'm backing out of that shit. And my subscribers, you know, the guys that been following me for a while, because I lost a lot of day ones. I'm gonna be honest. I lost a lot of day ones, and that's good because in 2019 I said it's about games. So the guys that want to go on this journey with me, then you know, only the strong gonna survive this journey. Because over here we show our work. Over in C Boogie Productions, we let the evidence speak for itself. We don't just talk. You know what I'm saying? You gonna catch C Boogie in the gym. You might catch Boogie driving. You might catch Boogie on a plane. You might catch Boogie on vacation. The evidence gonna speak for itself, man. Um, I can talk, but I can also show y'all. You see what I'm saying? So I'm rolling a little different, man. And so the Pookie and Ray Ray debate, one of the things that's being left out is what a lot of guys are trying to do is this. They trying to put Pookie and Ray Ray over here and all the decent black men over here. But what guys got to understand is in that group of decent black men, there are different factions in that group, man. And you need clear distinctions right now, you know. And I would say ultimately that's what I'm searching for, a clear distinction. Because in that group of educated lames or whatever y'all want to call them, you're going to have select guys and non-select guys in that group. It's just that simple, man. You know, we're not going to play with this no more. You see what I'm saying? All Pookies and Ray Rays are not getting the women. Of that group of Pookie and Ray Rays, there are select guys in that group, right? And the educated lames, quote unquote, because I don't even like that term, but for lack of time, we're gonna roll with it. For the educated lames, you know, there are select guys in that group. Now, the conversation should go like this. Right now, what you're seeing is select guys versus non-select guys. Ultimately, debate a male revolution. It's 50 guys on that island, man. You know, it's 50 guys on that island, man. And only 10 guys are select. You know, so look, we could try to dress this up and all this. Appreciate the follow the super chat, Wayne. We could try to dress this up and all this geopolitical community crap that nobody really cares about, or over on C Boogie Productions, we can dive in, weed out all the bullshit, and get to the center of this thing. You know, I'm not saying for all the guys that are out here advocating that it's about the women, but the females are a focal point. We're not gonna play with this because let me tell y'all something, man. If females were not involved with Pookie and Ray Ray, niggas wouldn't give a fuck about it. They wouldn't give a fuck if they shoot each other. They wouldn't give a fuck if they sold drugs. They wouldn't give a fuck about none of that if the women were not involved. You know, let's get this clear. So, you know, with that being said, you got guys like myself, right? You got guys like myself. I can do both. I can code switch. You know what I'm saying? I can code switch. You know, I can talk to a hood chick. I can speak her language. I can talk to a college chick. I can speak her language. I've dealt with females that had small businesses. I've dealt with females that had tax ID numbers, man. I've been there. You see what I'm saying? So I can play both sides of the fence if I want to, or I can date outside of my race with no issue. You know what I'm saying? I can do all of these things. So how would you classify guys like me? And it's a lot of cats like me that are stuck in the middle that are like, yo, fam, this ain't our beef, man. Let these guys shoot it out like OK Corral or do a Mexican standoff, and we gonna fall back and play the background because you know what? We're not out here tripping on the women. You know what I'm saying? In these conversations, y'all got to keep it a buck. The females always come up. Niggas ain't talking about victims of Pookies and Ray Rays. They're not talking about guys that suffered at the hands of Pookies and Ray Rays. The women and who they choose to fuck oftentimes comes up, man. And to me, I'm not really feeling that, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm not really feeling that Yo, AM1, I said not everybody. Maybe I'm not talking about you, AM1, but it's a lot of guys. Maybe I'm not talking about you, bro. Maybe I'm not talking about a couple guys in the chat, but I'm talking about a lot of these cats. It goes back to the women. You know what I'm saying? Bottom line, or who they choose to sleep with. Now, that's where I draw my line in the sand. I draw my line in the sand, you know what I'm saying? Because my plight and my fight is a little bit different. I want to advocate for Black men to experience feminine women. I want to advocate for Black men to be their best selves. I want to advocate for mental health. I want to advocate for just Black men really, really taking that internal deep journey, you know what I'm saying, and come at peace with themselves, like I did. You know what I'm saying? I had to go deep down inside, man. So, you know, um, once again, not everybody, is out here tripping on the women, but there are a lot of cats that the females are the focal point of their arguments, man. And that's bullshit. That's bullshit, man. As Black men, we got too much to fucking worry about out here in this world. But once again, I got to keep it a buck. If a lot of guys say that they not worried about these women, they say these females are undateable, unmarriageable. They got a bunch of kids, they got attitudes, they overweight. If that's the argument, y'all follow me. If that's the argument, then why do guys constantly talk about the women? I can never get a straight answer. Well, I know, you know what I'm saying? I know the answer. Thanks for the $5 super chat, Chris. I already know the answer. I broke this down many times. You know, um, a lot of guys were invisible. You know what I'm saying? A lot of guys were invisible growing up. You see what I'm saying? And what happens is this, you know, we get on this internet, we talk our shit, we have fun with it, but a lot of guys in their personal life, I'm gonna be honest, man, maybe they are lame. A lot of guys aren't living real life. A lot of guys aren't getting out the house. I'm gonna tell y'all a story real quick. I bumped into Nicole Michelle. Shout out to Nicole Michelle. I bumped into Nicole Michelle over on Reg the Bad Guy show. We had a conversation. And Nicole Michelle was telling me she was on another podcast's platform. And come to find out, it was a guy over there talking about Black women and kind of discussing his issues with Black females, this, that, and the third. And she asked him a couple questions about himself. Come to find out, the guy was paraplegic, man. The guy was paraplegic. Let's dive into that. No disses on anybody that's because I'm disabled for the United States military, so I would never shit on nobody. You know what I mean? I actually got out the military on medical because I had about 6 surgeries, so I know how hard it is. But here's the point: by default, by default, if you are paraplegic, if you are wheelchair bound, you are non-select. Y'all can take it how y'all want to take it. So the reason why I bring that up is this: non-select guys are going to have issues. It does not matter if you Pookie. It does not matter if you're educated. You're going to have issues. Even if beauty was in abundance in Black America, let's just say 8 out of 10 Black women were sevens and above. Let's just say 8 out of 10 Black women didn't have no kids. A lot of guys would still have the same issues. They would. They would have the same issues, man. And this thing has to be talked about in the right way. I'm sorry. If you're non-select, you're non-select. If you're a beta male, you're a beta male. If the women don't want to fuck you, they're not going to fuck you. That's just how it go. Now, one of my pet peeves is this. Now, a lot of guys do this, man. You know, I have no problem with guys dating interracially. I've dated interracially for a long time. Probably never gonna stop dating interracially. But you know, how would you explain a guy that's married to a white woman, living in the suburbs, but he spends 3 to 4 hours a day talking about black women? Yet you say these women are non-marriageable. You say you don't want these women. You say these women ain't shit, but you spend 4 hours of your day every day talking about them. Now, I don't know how many fucking psychology majors are in here in my chat room right now. All you need is half a brain to figure this out. If you're constantly talking about it, if you're constantly trying to get the validation from them, if you claim you're happy in your marriage, why does it matter that these women are still fucking up? Because you're supposed to be happy, bruh. I've been married before. When you're married, man, you really don't have a lot of time on your hands, bro. You constantly doing something, especially if you're running your dom game. You really ain't got no time to be out here spending 4 hours a day talking about pardon me, man. Shout out to the dom game division. You really don't have that much time to be tinkering around on fucking black YouTube talking about black women all day. I'm sorry, man. I gotta call this shit down the middle. Now, we don't have a lot of objective thinkers because a lot of people are invested in this shit emotionally. And that's another reason I said y'all can have that. They ain't even what I'm mad at. That's not my fight. I'm not that invested in the Pookie Ray Ray educated lane and their beef over the women. I'm not invested in that shit like that, fam. I'm not. I am not. I don't lose no sleep over it because you know what? I can snatch a bitch from Pookie and I can snatch a bitch from some guy that went to the University of Maryland. I have done it before. So once again, how would you classify the guys like myself? You know what I'm saying? The guys like myself, we chilling in the cut, like my man K. We in the cut and we watching this whole shit go down like word. This is very interesting, man. This is very interesting. You know, the women constantly come up. So with that being said, I got to give a shout out to Kevin Samuels, and let me go ahead and introduce Kevin Wright, man. When I had about 1,000 subs, right? Even before that, I used to try to get on guys' platforms, and I'm gonna be honest, man. A lot of guys shitted on me, right? Niggas was like, "Yo, you got to get your subs up, and you got to find your niche and all of this." And I was trying to get on guys' platforms, and Kevin Samuels reached out to me. I had about 800 to 1,000 subs, something like that. And he gave me like a whole hour and a half on his show. And Kevin had well over 25,000 subs. Thanks for the follow, the super chat, Joseph. And, I forever got to pay homage. And that's why on my channel, I reach back because it's each one teach one over here. Because Kevin didn't have to do that when other guys were shitting on me. And the funny part is, those are the same guys that's trying to get me on a platform now, and I be ducking them niggas. Another story for another day. But I gotta introduce him the right way because he showed the young C Boogie mad love with that, and he gave me the alley hoop, and I took it. I slam dunked that motherfucker. But Kevin Samuels, what I want to ask you is, and I'm gonna let you take the mic and rock. How would you classify a guy like myself that's really in the middle? I don't have much invested in this, and I'm just sitting back watching, like, yo, fam, this ain't my beef, man.
Well, hold on. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right. I'm seeing a lot of the same stuff. When I didn't know about a manosphere before when I came to YouTube. So a lot of this argument, I'm gonna be honest, man. I don't see it in the real world. I understand it. I've gone from simping to pimping. And I normally hang around cats like yourself. Everybody didn't go to college. Everybody didn't follow the same path. But guys who have taken the introspective path to learn who they are and then decide to get on that path of self-improvement naturally kind of gravitate towards one another. I think the best term is select, because here's the thing. Rom originated select. Big ups to Rom, because of 100 women, of 100%, I may be select for 80%. You may be select for 85%. Another cat may be select for 75%. That 5, 10, 15, 25% that I'm not select for go the other direction. But the point is, you're still select. And let's just go ahead and get right down to it. I'm pulling out the alter ego. I'm putting Kevin Samuels to the side today. And Velvet Jones is getting on the panel. Velvet Jones is my alter ego. And I'm gonna tell you, what it comes down to is it comes down to the pussy. It always comes down to the pussy. No two ways about it. I've said it on my channel. The old rules, the primal rules, fighting and fucking. And a lot of these dudes that are upset can't have never wanted fucking and have never wanted fighting. And without that, you really feel a hole in your manhood. And see, here in the last 10, so here on YouTube, it gets filled with a lot of psychobabble and bullshit. A lot of words, a lot of wordplay, and a lot of being right on this point and right on that point. But when you turn the goddamn computer off, these motherfuckers, a lot of dudes are just sitting in their house. And before anybody decides to get slick or greasy and sassy on the channel, remember, I work with about at least 3 to 6 men daily. I'm not going to pull out their names, but I listen to these guys' stories and just understand where they're coming from, whether they got a college degree or not. Just look at the content on my channel. I did a video talking about near incels, near spinsters. I did a video on my channel talking about guys, college educated, under 30, still living at home. These guys aren't bad guys, but they are non-select. They didn't learn the social skills necessary to be out there to actually survive. And here they get thrust into a world where women's sexuality, women's choice has been liberated, and the dual mating strategy is in their fucking face. It's always been there. The problem is, you and I have wanted the dual mating strategy more than we've lost. And even when we lost, we can actually look back and say, I started slipping on my pimping. I was weak over here. I let my game up here. That's that introspective self-improvement journey that says, even though my ex played me, I opened the door to get played. Now, that's hard for a lot of guys to do if you ain't had enough experiences. 2, if you really don't want to take accountability. So when I actually spent close to $10,000 to have my business model looked at, when I said this on Obsidian's channel, they told me, it's like, this is bad for your brand and this is horrible to talk about. Because at the end of the day, as a business owner, as a man who's out there, look, there are a group of guys who, like you said, I'm just not in that fight. You call it the Pookie, Ray, the educated lame. It all gets wrapped up in there. The other side of it is the guys who fit the greater mushy middle, the guys that don't know where they kind of fit. But if you're willing to actually open your mind to see, how can I actually get my shit together? And then give myself the highest possibility of all women if I decide I want them. See, I'm tired of even having to qualify this shit, because we have to say not all. Look, no, I'm not talking to guys who don't want to deal with women. You're not my market. So today I'm stopping qualifying a lot of shit. I'm going to speak in generalization. I'm not going to speak in that to say this doesn't fit all guys. It fits all the guys that I'm talking about. And the guys that I'm talking about are like yourself, like me, who realize I'm right here. I can get better, or if I decide to distract, I can get worse in all facets of life. Never satisfied with just okay. Men who want to be leaders, bosses, entrepreneurs, husbands, whatever. Guys who want more than just themselves. Not this, I'm a lone wolf, which is really a hermit in disguise. Guys who have actually decided, I want to engage in this fight, regardless as to where I am. I'll leave it there.
Yeah, appreciate it, big bro. So yeah, I definitely agree, man. And you know, I always tell my guys that because I have a lot of younger cats that watch my channel. Shout out to Doug for the super chat. Thanks, big bro. Have a lot of young cats that watch my channel, and everybody know I'm for the youth, man. I love these babies, man. Like the young boys. When I used to work in juvenile detention centers and nonprofits, man, those young boys love me, man. I guess they can look at me and see themselves, and I can look at them and see myself. When I was a young, confused little boy, before the military took me and crafted me, right? And so always tell the young cats to stay focused. Don't let these distractions get you off your path. It's a lot of cats out here that are 21, 22, 23. And I tell these niggas, the world is your oyster, man. The world is your oyster, bro. Don't get caught up following behind these cats that are finished. Mm-mm. If I can go from a non-select guy to a select guy by just putting in a little bit of work, always tell, I guess everybody got their high school stories, right? And everybody know mine. My high school story was my speech. I had a bad speech problem. I mean, I always looked the same, whatever. Always been, maybe somewhat of a taller guy, but, athletic guy, but I had a bad speech impediment and I had to work on that. And because of that speech impediment, yeah, man, by default, I was non-select. And I worked on that thing every day, every day, every day, every day. And, I know that it can be done. I've seen guys make transformations by just losing 40, 50 pounds. I've seen guys take their life in their own hands and say, fuck that. Because ultimately, what the self-improvement piece is this: you want to put yourself in a position where you can be the guy telling the women no. You know what I'm saying? Instead of them always telling you no. You want to be in a position to have the most options that you possibly can have and put yourself in a position to get the best females, you know what I'm saying, that you could possibly have. You know what I mean? That way, this whole stay in your lane conversation, you ain't got to have that. You know what I mean? What lane would you put C Boogie in? I told you I can code switch. I can walk down the street and go talk to a hood chick, or you could put me on a college campus, man, and I can talk to her as well. I've done it before, and I can show my work. I can show my work. When Alan Roger Carey was going in on all the men in the manosphere, who stepped up and challenged ARC? It was the boogeyman. And I say that to say this, man. The conversation at this point is drifting toward a place of select and non-select. That's just where it's at. You know what I'm saying? And I don't want to, me personally, I like to deal with shit head on. I don't like to tiptoe around anything. You know what I'm saying? I want to have the deeper conversation and dive in deep. You see what I'm saying? And really get to the bottom of this shit and the pathology behind it. I know a lot of black men have been hurt by black women, whether it be mother, grandmother, sister, girlfriend, ex-wife. I know this for a fact. I see it all the time. When I'm out in public, I see these black females disrespecting their young sons. You see what I'm saying? Cursing them out, talking to them any kind of way. I know that can fuck up your self-esteem. You know what I'm saying? It can fuck up your sense of self-worth. And then you can actually grow up hating somebody. And then you end up wanting to get revenge. I already see it, man. I work with these young boys, and they would cry on my fucking shoulder. Let's talk real talk. When these young boys would cry on my shoulder because they would have to go home and not get that validation and love from that female that they call the fucking mother. You know what I'm saying? So basically what I'm saying is this conversation is not surface level. This isn't. No, go ahead, Kevin.
Man, you talk about cry. I have men that I work with that I'll never divulge their names. We're talking men above 30 who, when I'm working with them on coaching calls, cry. I'll ask them a question, and as I start to work with a client, I've been doing this. I've worked with men for years, and for the first time, a lot of these dudes are finally reaching in and touching a hurt that's never got healed. There's never been any closure. And when you're talking to men who are really just looking for an answer, somebody to tell them you can do better, See, that's what this whole self-improvement thing is. That's why I say wherever you at in life is not a death sentence. And so many of these guys have never heard that they can be better. Whether you get them when they're young, when they're younger, I catch them when they're a little bit older. But at the end of the day, the conversation still needs to be had. Go ahead.
Facts, Kevin. And so like I was saying, I know the pain that a lot of black men and black boys walk around with, man. Don't I would never dismiss that, man. And even growing up in the inner city, when I went to public schools, yeah, the girls, the girls of Baltimore when I was growing up was pretty rough. And if you wasn't a select guy, let's be honest, man, they turned you down pretty harshly, man. I've seen females just walk right past certain guys. They ain't even look. They ain't even check their peripherals. They whatever. So maybe he's considered an educated lame today, or whatever the case may be. So I know a lot of cats is dealing with that rejection, and they carry it around. And look, I say there's nothing wrong with that if you're trying to get past it. You know what I'm saying? But me personally, I don't harbor those kind of feelings for anybody. What's going on, Jay Marcel? I don't harbor those kind of feelings for anybody, man. If I can patch up the relationship with me and my mother, if I can patch up certain relationships with people in my family where we sat down as adults and talked about certain things that happened, I'm like, yo, I'm good. I'm at peace. Like I said in my last video, I worked hard at my peace, and I'd be damned if I let anybody disturb that. So I don't walk around with 50-pound dumbbells on my shoulders, man. I don't lose no sleep over this shit. That's why I say, in regards to this little debate, I'll let the guys that are into it deal with that. That ain't my fight, man. I realized this months ago, actually, and I've been transitioning my way out of that shit. I'm like, yo, this ain't even got nothing to do with me, man. I got a whole different plight. I got a whole different plan. I run a whole different channel. I'm a red pill guy at heart. I'm just a red pill dude. I see things in reality, and that's just how I live my life. You know what I mean? So as a red pill guy, I would never put any woman on a pedestal. White, Asian, without Hispanic, black. I don't. You know what I'm saying? All of them got fucked up nature. It just displays itself differently between the racial groups, but the fuckery is there. You see what I'm saying? So a lot of cats is calling themselves red pill and all these other fucking titles. No, man. Here is the truth to the chat. How many people I got in my chat room? 272. Let's try to get the lights up. Here's the truth. Niggas ain't red pill. Like I thought. Niggas hate black women. I'm gonna say that again. Niggas ain't red pill. They hate black women. I've seen guys in people chat rooms that said that. I'm not just saying it because I actually seen that. I've gotten calls from guys that actually admitted that shit to me. I would never say their names. They say they hate black women for what they did to them. And I said, yo, I got to step out of this shit, man. It's too much. It's too much. You know what I'm saying? I'm about games. I ain't about that kind of I'm just saying harboring those kind of feelings. Let's just say that. Let's just say that, man. Let's just say that. I don't have those kind of feelings against anybody. I call out the fuckery all day. But the hate piece, miss me with that shit, bro. So, you know, what we seeing now, back to the topic, man. What we seeing now is at some point, as mature men, we're gonna have to keep it a buck about this select and non-select conversation. You know what I mean? It's a real one. It does not when it comes to being select and non-select, it does not matter how much fuckery a female got if you're non-select. You're going to have the same issues. A female, let's say that I was a non-select guy. Let's just have the conversation. A female would come around me with all her fuckery in tow, but she'd get around a nigga like Kevin Samuels and be on her best behavior. That's how that works, man. Y'all pardon me, man. Fucking ass. Y'all pardon me. But that's how the thing works, man. Guys gotta understand this, man. A female could see me and shit on me and get around Kevin Samuels and call him daddy. That's how this select and non-select thing works, man. A female, if I was a beta male, a female would get with me and tell me everything she wanted me to do. I can't cheat, I can't do that. She'd get around Kevin Samuels and say, I want you to have another bitch. That's how the select and non-select thing works, man. It's deep. It's deep. And if guys don't want to understand this shit, if guys want to buck back against it, let them. Let them. Because you know what? I'm tired of niggas misrepresenting my message too. My message about self-improvement was about self. It always have been. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a Mac. I'm not a pimp. I'm not a pickup artist. I'm not a PUA. None of that. I'm just a regular red-pilled guy. And, you know, I just try to tell guys, when you out here, don't be a fool. Be intelligent. That's all I tell guys. I don't tell guys who to date. I don't tell guys to divest. I don't tell guys to let nothing burn. You know, I'm not invested that deep into this shit, man. I realized this months ago. I'm not. You know what I'm saying? You know who I'm invested in? I'm gonna tell you who I'm invested in. These young boys. Because you know what? They got the opportunity to change this shit. They got the opportunity to run a dumb game like no other on these fucking girls. They got the opportunity to craft a pimp hand and let that shit be strong. They got the opportunity to write this shit. Niggas that's 50, 60 years old, I'm gonna be honest, man. They finished. No disrespect to nobody. For the older gentlemen, yo, man, what was y'all doing all these years? What was y'all doing all these years when these women was running amok? When these women was acting up? You know what I'm saying? So yes, I like fucking with the young boys, man. I really do. That's my heart. When I see them, I smile. You want to say something, Kevin?
I was gonna say that, you know, I talked to you yesterday about this is I'm gonna be focusing on guys from, you know, 16 to 25 this summer. The summer of improvement. And I talked about how my freshman year, I left high school, I was just under 5'2". I came back and I was damn near 5'10", 5'11". I grew 9 inches over the summer. And I saw firsthand how just in short 3 months, how I went from being non-select to select. And it was based on height. Now, it was the same cat, you know, still skinny and all this other kind of stuff. But the ultimate point is catching them when they're young. Catching them when they're young, letting them know, like you just said, you don't have to vacillate between blue pill and red pill like I did. Somebody would have caught me when I was younger. A lot of the shit that happened to me, I like to think wouldn't have happened. But also, because I have seen it, I'm still working with men. You know, the men who are over 25, who still realize, you know, over 30, who to the point to where they're like, you know what? I want something different and I'm ready to do the work. No more arguing why the work needs to be done. No more trying to argue, you know, against female nature or male nature. No. Self-improvement is for self. We're ready to do the work and then let the chips fall where they may. Men who are ready to engage the damn fight. Those are the guys that that I'm focused on, because those are the men who they don't expect any guarantee other than they'll never be this low again. Go ahead.
That's a good point, bro. That's a real good point, man. And so within this conversation, the Pookie and Ray Ray debate, you know, as far as the community, you know, I don't get into these kind of conversations online, and I'm gonna tell y'all why. I'm gonna disclose some information to y'all because one of the reasons I don't have these kind of conversations really with civilians, you know, because my outlook on things are different. So let's say we're talking about power. Let's just talk about power. When I think about power, the first place that I go to is, well, what are you willing to kill for? What are you willing to die for? You know what I'm saying? When I think of power, I don't just think, you know, getting a job, get in the house with a cul-de-sac. I mean, get in the house on a cul-de-sac, ducking off in somebody else's community. No, man. I think about what are you willing to kill for? So with that being said, I tend to stay out of those kind of conversations online because I know they're going to get heated. And like I say, the name is C Boogie, not CNN, man. You know what I'm saying? I just keep it cool. I just stay in my lane with that. But a lot of guys, they want to go, they want to talk about the community. Um, okay, nobody. When I went to the military, I was a petroleum engineer. I was a weapons specialist. I got all kind of certificates and things that I done did. Got out, got my degree. I got a lot of different skill sets, man. Um, Nobody from my old community ever asked me for a goddamn thing. So when guys are having these arguments, I sit back like, yo, who is asking y'all to come back to the community? I mean, give me a fucking name. Don't give me a magazine. Don't give me an article. Don't give me a news clip. Don't give
Show
me a
your work.
YouTube link. Show your work. Give me a name. Who is putting the pressure on you in real life to come back to the community? And I can never get a clear answer. So that tells me the narrative is highly romanticized. Um, I'm gonna give y'all something to chew on. Here's the real deal. A lot of guys left their community, and their community didn't even realize they was gone. That's how invisible they was. I'm be honest. Community didn't even recognize they was gone. You know what I'm saying? As far as being shamed, let's talk about the shame. Don't get me wrong. It does happen. I've had family members hit me up and ask me to co-sign for cars. But look, I learned the word no at a very early age. 2 letters, N-O. I learned that word and it served me well. Nobody has a gun to my head. Nobody has a rocket launcher and say, Boogie, I need you to do X, Y, and Z. I need all your skill sets. I need you to stand and take posts on the corner of Fairmount and Monroe in Baltimore. No, it never happens. You see what I'm saying? There's something else going on that I've been searching for. I know the answer, but I'm gonna have the conversation anyway. You know what I'm saying? I already know what's up. It's the boogeyman. So um these conversations, man, I just don't know who is guilting these quote unquote lame guys to come back and do anything. Um, by my estimation, it doesn't really happen like that. Now, if you're a lame dude, if you're a non-select guy, and you get into a relationship with like a single mother or something, well, obviously you know what that comes with. At some point, you're going to have to engage those kids. You know what I'm saying? At some point, if you're a non-select guy and you out here dealing with hood chicks, well, you know what that comes with, man. They're gonna need a couple of dollars. They're gonna need you to do this and do that. So why you keep putting yourself in that situation? My thing is, yo, man, some of this stuff I just don't see in real life. I do not. Nobody calls my phone from my old neighborhood. Nobody try to pull me back. Once I left Baltimore at 17, it was what it was. And let me tell y'all something. When I go to Baltimore and I drive in on I-95, I leave on I-95. Is nobody barricading me in? Is nobody holding my pants, gripping on my leg, trying to keep me in the neighborhood? Like, stop, don't go. No, it never happened. And it never will. So my question to y'all in my chat room is, yeah, Renaissance, you said it right, big bro. The community knows who they can guilt and shame and manipulate. They know who to do it to. You know what I'm saying? Now, granted, maybe some cats got called to sell out. Maybe some cats said, was told they acted funny, whatever. Okay, yo, that's going to happen. From the time you wake up in the morning, you're going to have some resistance in your life. The question is, how do you deal with that? What's going on, Senators? The question is, how do you deal with that? You got to learn the word no. You gotta, you gotta be straight ahead with this shit, man. My message to guys is, yo, live the best life possible, man. Um, Stay out of your head. Stop living in your head, man. A lot of guys got online and created this.
Hold on.
Mhm.
Living in your head is one thing, but fucking having a fantasy world is another. Goddamn, show your work. See,
Yeah.
when I finally decided to stop asking guys, I don't need to hear none of this
Hydrate me.
stats, empirical this. You got a problem with what's going on? Tell me what happened the last time you approached a woman. I'll tell you about something happened yesterday on a call. Cat told me, he has issues with his confidence and women and all this other kind of stuff. They shoot me down and they don't. I said, okay, tell me what happened the last time you approached a woman. I said, how long has it been since you approached a woman? The setup. Oh, it was in months. Now I already know this dude's story, but I said it's been months. Well, tell me about what happened the last time. Well, blah blah blah. This whole I was like, no, show your work. Tell me about the situation. And after 2 minutes of going back and forth, I was like, you lying. You're lying to me and you're lying to yourself. Tell me about the last time it happened. This guy's a paying client. When it got right down to it, Boogie, it had been 9 years. 9 years.
Mm.
And he's still using it as an excuse in his life today. That's why when the people talking about they want me to do this and they show your work. Tell me about when it happened to you specifically. And the reality is what you just said. For some of the guys we're talking about, you left the situation. People never knew you were there. Some old Office Space Milton Wadhams shit. They fired you and they did not know you were still there. And that bothers a lot of guys because it's like, well, if they didn't even know I was here, how can I have any power or agency? And that's the ultimate thing. You haven't led a life of impact. You haven't led a life. You
Gotta ask the question, Kevin. Like you always say, man, gotta ask guys, if you died today, how many people would show up at your funeral?
right. If you haven't led a life of impact, you're not a good dude. You're not a man of value. You're not existent. Thanos would snap and he wouldn't even count you. And that's not a problem with women. That's not a problem with your mama. That is a problem with you. That is a problem that you have to address. And that's the journey of self-improvement. And that's what bothers a lot of dudes because they are invisible. They are broken glass, broken men that aren't even there. And the thing is, online is the first time a lot of these cats have ever been able to coalesce. And like you said, they're over there because I got nothing for them. I can't help a guy who does not want to even acknowledge the fact that he needs to at least become visible to the situation. So this whole thing about, showing your work, self-improvement, a lot of dudes, man, have been so use an experience that happened long ago as justification. Like I talked about the dude that's 28 years old, him and his 4 brothers still living with his mama. He called himself a MGTOW, an incel. Turns out that the last time he approached a woman was in 10th grade. He asked her out on a date. She stood him up, and that was the one excuse. I mean, I really want to ask some of these dudes, tell me about how many times have you tried? What did you do? And using this whole thing about, why I talk to one woman or 2 women. Hell, if you batting 1 out of 3, you go to the Hall of Fame. See, when you ask the dudes to show their work and they really got to get specific, then the truth really comes out. It ain't everything else the problem. The problem is them. Go ahead.
Hey man, you ever seen that movie? I think it was called The Secret Life of Walter Mitty
Yeah,
without Ben Stiller.
yeah.
That's what I like in a lot of these guys too. How Walter Mitty always lived in his head. Like he lived this outlandish hell of a life in his brain, but in real life, this guy was a nobody. You see what I'm saying?
Hey, man, I'm gonna get ready to get in the car.
Huh?
Get ready to get in the car. I'm gonna join on
Okay.
All right.
Okay. So Walter Mitty lived this crazy life in his head, but what happened was this. towards the end of the movie, life itself, circumstances in his life had forced him to get out there and be bold and be confident and face his fears. And ultimately, the life that he was living in his head, he basically was able to do that in real life. But a lot of cats live up here. And that's the thing about, I guess, this YouTube world. I'm going to be honest. Let's have some real talk. Fuck it, man. Y'all done got the Boogie man open, man. Fuck it. Let me hydrate on this because we gonna rap. So uh YouTube. YouTube. If you was a nobody, and no disrespect to anybody, but I mean in regards to popularity and socially, publicly, um, whatever. Like Kevin said, if you had no impact in society, you can get on YouTube and let's say you get 10, 15, 20,000 subs, 50,000, 100,000. You can host an audience of 1,000 people, 800 people in your chat room. But here's the reality, man. It can be very intoxicating, right? It can be, especially if you never got attention from women, you got females in the chat, if you never was looked at like a boss, if you never leaded men, it can be intoxicating. A lot of cats let this shit go to their head because in real life, they don't have that kind of impact. You know what I'm saying? They don't. They don't. So, yeah, fame is a hell of a drug. Me personally, I just take it with a grain of salt. Yo, I had the University of Maryland basketball team had C Boogie on the big screen, man. You know what I'm saying? People actually recognize me in real life, man, and I'm just like, yo, I'm a regular dude, man, because I don't really have those kind of social issues as a lot of guys, and I can empathize with cats. That's why my message is the way that it is because I see things very objectively, believe it or not. I'm not emotionally invested into this shit as some people. So I can give a very objective message. But what you have is um, a lot of guys that can get online and get into a virtual space and be anybody that they want to be. And I'm like, nah. That's why every now and then I gotta bring y'all with me in my personal life. I gotta let y'all see me out. Just so y'all can see, like, oh shit, this nigga's a real person, man. I don't just talk, man. I can show my work. I can show my work. You know what I'm saying? I can show my work. And to me, that stands for a lot because let me tell you something about YouTube. 50% of it is having good. Thanks for the follow the super chat, Renzel. Salute, big homie. Um, 50% of it is having good content. And the other 50%, what's going on, Max William? The other 50% of it is people buying into you as a person. You know what I'm saying? So going into YouTube, y'all pardon me, man. My eyes, man. My allergies killing me. Going into YouTube, I always knew I wasn't going to have the best content for whatever reason, but I knew that I brought other things to the table. So I said, yo, if I can get this package right, I can work this thing and work my mojo. If I can upload my real personality on YouTube, because let me tell y'all something. When I first started making videos, y'all not gonna see those videos because I took them down. I tried to format my videos like Sandman MGTOW. I had it all written out. I was damn near reading from a teleprompter and shit. Um, I sounded like a robot. I was using all these $50 words and shit. But my channel didn't pop off until I uploaded my personality when I found my niche. So basically, what I'm saying is, to tie a bow around this thing, you know, all I did was I knew I wasn't gonna have the best content. You know what I'm saying? But I knew I had a message. I knew I had real life experiences, unlike a lot of cats. I knew I traveled. I knew I seen a lot of things. I jumped off the porch very early in life. So I said, if I can package this right, I can get through to people. So my presentation is 50% of C Boogie Productions. My presentation, me. You see what I'm saying? So a lot of people miss that. A lot of people miss that. I knew I had charisma. I knew that I could tell jokes. I knew that I can tell crazy stories because all my stories are true. So I knew that I always brought other things to the table. So the University of Maryland basketball team having me on a big screen is fine, but that's not my first time on a big screen. You see what I'm saying? So it didn't go to my head. People recognizing me in real life is fine, but I've been very popular for quite some time. So, well, not very popular, but semi-popular, man. People know me. So, a lot of guys are Walter Mitty. A lot of guys are Walter Mitty.
Go ahead.
You know
I'm
what I
just logging
mean?
back in.
And this is what I try to tell guys when Kevin say show your work, and when C Boogie say let the evidence of your life speak for itself. I really mean that. You don't have to have a conversation and try to convince me that you select, non-select, you alpha or beta. I don't give a fuck. Let the evidence speak for itself because it's going to speak. It's going to speak. So you got to ask yourself, a lot of content creators, why you never see them out on the street? And I'm not, trying to start no mess, but let's chop it up. Why you never see them involved in anything social? Why you never see them living anything real? You know what I mean? They'll give you these bullshit answers, but the reality is a lot of these niggas have limited experiences in life. I'm a young cat, but yo, I've been married. I got children. I did a lot of shit, man. So I can talk about things from my personal life. Why you think a lot of these guys, the only thing they got to talk about is a bunch of studies, a bunch of research, and that has its place. That has its place. But have you walked that path? Have you walked down that dark alley? Do you even know what's down that dark alley? You say you do, but you don't know. I mean, you don't know. That's why you had time to read every fucking study in the goddamn world while other guys was out here living it. Those studies, those books, somebody had to live it to go back and write it. Alan Roger Carey, for him to write the Beta Male Revolution, for him to write Mode One, for him to write, you know, uh, goddamn, The Possibility of Sex, he had to live it, come back, write it, and package it up and sell it to y'all motherfuckers. You see what I'm saying? Somebody has to do the hard work. So which guy are you going to be? Are you going to be on the sideline for the rest of your life, pointing at niggas? Oh, dick watching, Pookie doing this guy educated lame. Are you going to be the one that write the book, man? I'm serious. I want to be the nigga that write the book. A lot of times I sit down. Y'all see this? I sit down and I jot shit. I jot shit. I don't know when it's going. I don't know what it's going to turn into. Maybe an ebook. I don't know. I sit down when I got 10, 15 minutes and I jot stuff down. I talk about the matriarchal side of places. I talk about black men. I talk about mental health. You see what I'm saying? I want to be the nigga that write the book. I'm nobody's Doja. Nobody. I give y'all a story. Hold on. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Kevin. I'm sorry.
Remember, you talked about Nino Brown in New Jack City. Let's talk about Ice-T in New Jack City. And one of his best lines was he was talking to Demario Van Peebles' character. And he told him, hey, man, you trying to tell me how to do this shit out in the streets, but the next time you want to bring your sideline ass into the front line, you let me know. What you're starting to see is I want to deal with dudes that want to get off the sideline and they want to get on the front line. You know, no disrespect to the military guys. I'm not a military guy, but I got a lot of respect because guys who are off the sideline and decide to get into the front line, they're engaged in life. And I think you need to let people know where you're coming from. If you're a sideline dude, say, I'm a sideline dude. But that's not somebody who needs to be followed. I don't need to listen to sideline dudes, just like I don't need to listen to women talk about how men need to be. I need to know what women want, what they say they want. But guys need to understand that if you got to ask yourself before you start listening to somebody, do you want their life? Do you want their outcomes? What kind of outcomes do you want? And if you want better outcomes than you've had, you need to actually finally decide to start getting off that sideline and getting involved. And guess what happens when you get involved? You're going to fail. You're going to get some rejections. You're going to get some knockdowns. You're going to get some bruises. You're going to have some contact. You cannot get involved in life. It's a contact sport and expect to come out this motherfucker unscathed. But the overall point is this: at least you will start living a life of impact. Life is see, a lot of us don't realize, man, life is precious. A lot of guys ain't never really went through nothing. You know, ain't been shot at. I know that. Ain't been in a war zone. Ain't had nothing really happen to them. So the stuff that a lot of dudes complain about or fuss about is like, man, look, man, gratitude, empathy, and humility. A lot of guys need to actually get this formula and self-awareness. So many guys have decided to just become not self-aware. That is where you get this whole sitting on YouTube all day complaining about shit that really doesn't affect you while your actual life is going on. You mentioned, how can you be married and be on YouTube 3-4 hours a day? How is that possible? You an actual married man, but you'd rather come online and engage in a virtual space. That's not living life, man. That's the sideline, dude. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's a sideline Negro. So um, you know, I want to be the guy that writes the book, right? And you know, with a lot of these arguments that guys have, I totally understand it. Don't get me wrong. I know where cats are coming from, but once again, I mean, anybody with a half a brain, if I say I don't like apples because they make the top of my they make the roof of my mouth itch. Apples, bananas, kiwi, all that kind of shit, right? I can't fuck with them. As soon as I bite into it, my whole top of the roof of my mouth is itching, right? You're never going to see me with an apple. You're never going to see me with a banana. I don't even talk about it. You know what I'm saying? If you offer me the banana, I'm like, nah, I'm fine, bro. I keep it moving. I go into the grocery store. I walk right past the banana aisle. You see what I'm saying? Um, let's use that example for these women. If you say these women are no good, if you say these females are full of fuckery, which is it's a lot of truth in that. If you say these females are non-marriageable, whatever the case may be, why you spend your days talking about it? Do like I do with the bananas. Do like I do with the kiwi. I don't stunt that shit. You see what I'm saying? It's that simple. Now, just like there's a guy in the chat room right now. What is his name? The Truth something. The Truth for Men G. Let me address this. So the Truth for Men G says, but they choose these no good pookies and then they want us to clean that shit. Here's what I'm gonna do. The Truth for Men G. If you want to get on the panel, it's time to show your work. If you want to get on my panel, I will give you the link and you can come on my panel and tell me who is making you clean this shit up. I don't want a magazine. I don't want a news article. I don't want some shit you seen on fucking primetime TV. I'm talking about your personal life. That's what I do for guys today. I'm giving out gifts. You can't say C Boogie never gave back. I'm
Show your
giving you the
work.
opportunity.
Let them
What's up?
show
What's
their
up,
work.
Kevin?
I was gonna say, yeah. Again, that's a perfect example of they want us to clean. Okay, man, come show your work. Come talk about it. I'm open to hear it because here's the thing: I'm empathetic to any guy who is put in that position, but need to hear what you're talking about. I really want to hear these guys, guys who actually type this stuff in the chat room when you done made all the qualifiers, but they still want to have this argument. All right, come show your work. I'll be here for this one. I'm gonna go back on mute.
So, the truth. If you want the link, you can have the link. I will let you on my panel, and you can break this down for me, so I can have a thorough understanding of where you're coming from. If not, you gotta keep it pushing, fam, because this shit gotta stop. Um, just throwing out these blank statements, but they want us to come back and clean the shit up. Um, I don't know about that. You know what I'm saying? And when you okay, when you're talking about these things, you're going to have the conversation of select and non-select, alpha, beta. Don't. I'm sorry, you cannot get around it. Yes, the beta male's job. He come. I mean, it's beta bucks, man. It's beta bucks, man. You're not going to get around that. You know what I'm saying? We have to have the real conversation. So once again, it's bullshit. You know what I'm saying? It's bullshit. Motherfuckers just throwing shit out there, very ambiguous. It doesn't really make any sense. It's just like, fam, stop it at this point, man. I want to have a real conversation from now on. I'm not engaging in nothing else surface level, unless we're talking about the gym or some crazy shit, but I'm not, man. If we're going to get down to the nitty gritty, if we're going to address this shit the way we need to, then, we're going to have to get very uncomfortable, man. You know what I'm saying? We're going to have to get very uncomfortable. I have no problem getting uncomfortable, man. I'm actually more comfortable being uncomfortable. I had to learn how to do that. So, with that being said, guys gonna have to get their mind right very soon. You know what I'm saying? I'm not just letting anybody get on the panel, but if somebody can point out to me that they getting shamed, they getting guilted, they had a gun put to their head, and they was made to do something. Oh yeah, I'll let you on the panel if you can come to me with something tangible. If you can come to see Boogie with something that make fucking sense, yeah, get on the panel and tell me. If not, I'm not addressing no Madame Noir, no the Roots, the Griot, all this other kind of crap, Ebony that I don't even fucking read anyway, man. You know what I'm saying? I don't even fucking read that shit anyway. You know what I'm saying? That has no direct impact on my life. And I'm not excusing what these magazines write. I'm not excusing that. But what I'm saying is, it's like, fam, brush that shit off and keep it moving. You don't like it, you start your own fucking magazine. Why do you think C Boogie has a channel? And I decided, okay, I don't see a lot of guys talking about what I want to talk about. So why not, I go ahead and do it myself. You see what I'm saying? If you don't like what those magazines say, counter that shit. Instead of niggas writing anonymous letters, calling me a Pookie and talking about the bitches I fuck, niggas should be writing these magazines stating they fucking case, but they don't. They too
Well,
busy dick watching.
the problem is that means they would have to actually get engaged in life and show their work. See, when you start talking about, here's the thing. Depending upon where you're at in your journey, if you just found the manosphere, you just found quote unquote this kind of men's rights, red pill kind of stuff, that's one thing. But if you're still doing the same shit 6 months, a year, 2 years later, fam, the problem is you. And let's talk about this. Since you talk about alpha beta, most dudes are beta unless you own your own business. But you're a beta male. You got a manager in the organizational structure. You're not the alpha. And see, most guys understand this, but it's in the sexual world. This sexual alpha thing is where a lot of guys want the rules to be different. Your resume, your nowhere does that work. Your degree does not make you sexual alpha. Your degree does not. Your credit rating. None of this shit counts, nor has it ever counted. And just because you want to go change the rules to fit your narrative, your life, what you want to do, doesn't make it so. This shit has never been this way. I mean, I did a show last week. I don't even want to go into that. Let that ride. So many dudes want to just sit around and say, I want it to work this way. You know why they want it to work that way, Boogie? That means I don't have to do nothing else.
Mm.
I don't have to do nothing else. If it works my way, then I should just reap the rewards. I shouldn't. I should have to. I don't have to run anymore. These dudes don't want to do the work, or they want to stop. I want they a dude got on my panel on my comment section last week and cussed me out because I had a woman on here talking about what higher octane women want. Fuck you, Kevin Samuels. They should love us for who we are. Period. It ain't never been that way, fam. Love has always been conditional. There's a masculine burden of performance that has always been there and will be there. If it didn't exist, we would still be living in caves and huts. There's no reason for air conditioning, airplanes, creature comforts. The only reason men do this stuff is actually for that selfish gene. So for everybody who want to read studies and listen such and so forth, but the guys we're not really talking about on the panels, go read you after you read the Darwin's theory of natural selection. That go read the selfish gene, and you will realize that as a human being, the human animal, your primary motive on this planet is to get your genes into the next generation. Real talk, let's ask the question, Boogie. Real talk. If you leave this planet without reproducing, in this grand scheme of things, you didn't exist.
Yeah.
And a lot of the guys who, honestly, that's why I want to ask some of the guys who are diehard, MGTOW or whatever, especially when they're a little bit older, talking to younger guys. I'm like, but wait a minute, you've been married, or you have children. Would you give up your kids? Would you give up your situation if you could just stand on, snap it all away? And I've never heard a guy say he would. See, when it comes right down to it, as I'm concerned with what some of the guys are starting to hear, because it's this defeatist, I don't have to do anything and the world should come to me. No, I don't want you to get into your twilight years and realize, you know what? I should have made some different moves. I should have actually got out here and did some of the hard work and looking in the mirror. That's what I tell a lot of clients. I want you to go get some full length mirrors, Boogie. I want you to get full length mirror, put it in your living room, your bedroom, in your computer room. I want you to see yourself multiple times a day, so you can quit lying to yourself. You 250 pounds at 5'9", you obese, dude. Stop lying to yourself. You can actually see yourself. Many guys don't see themselves. That's self-awareness. And when you don't see yourself, it's easy to look outside of you for the fix.
A proper appraisal.
A proper appraisal. And then you notice that this dude ain't jumped on the panel because he has no work to show.
Yeah.
So my thing is this: stop with the bullshit, fam. If you got no work to show, your opinion doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I'll leave it there.
So a proper appraisal, once again, is very important because a lot of guys, once again, have created this Walter Mitty type of universe in their brain. And, in our reality, a lot of cats are just mediocre niggas. I'm not, look, I'm a mediocre dude. You know what I'm saying? As of right now, you know what I mean? I'll be honest. Within, as far as certain things, I'm not mediocre. But because I haven't accomplished what I wanted to accomplish yet. So that's why I would call myself mediocre at this time. The plans that I have written down, I have not accomplished them yet. I'm working towards it. So as of right now, yeah, I'm a mediocre dude. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to discredit anybody to put myself on Mount Olympus. I don't have to constantly discredit Pookie and Ray Ray. I don't give a fuck about them niggas, man. I'm like, yo, I'm so focused on my own game to where as though is half of this shit, it just kind of fly off my shoulders. Like, I don't give a fuck about that, man. Case in point, when Cynthia G got pregnant, I was like, next. You can look at her eyes and see that she like hood niggas. Next. You know what I'm saying? It didn't phase me. That wasn't a victory for C Boogie. Do you know what a victory is? When I wake up and, I got 4 new consultations. 2 of them are women. I'm like, oh shit, nigga moving on up. So with that being said, the alpha beta shit. I mean, and like obviously We talking about sexual alpha, sexual beta, you know. So the alpha beta shit, guys, guys gonna have to really do some self-awareness to find out where they at. A proper appraisal. You know, a lot of guys talking about they want these women, they want this, they want that. Here's what they have to offer. In all reality, everything they have to offer, a lot of these women don't even want. And Kevin Samuels will tell you, if you are quote unquote alpha male, if you're a select dude, a lot of women don't expect you to be monogamous. Um, they don't mind if you have side chicks as long as you don't embarrass them. They don't expect the same things from select guys. So a lot of select guys, they don't really have much to complain about because the women respond to them different. You see what I'm saying? They don't come around certain guys with these funky ass attitudes. You know what I'm saying? The sex is better. So with all this being said, man, niggas don't have a proper appraisal on themselves, and they wonder why the world is responding to them in this fucked up fashion. You know, whether it be looks, personality, fucked up ass disposition they got towards life and shit, prickly little attitudes. Then they wonder why shit don't really flow their way, and they stuck where they stuck at. Man, it's like, dog, you have not got a proper appraisal. You know what I'm saying? You have not. And this is key. And this is key. I used to do some personal training back in the day. You know, I used to do these like boot camp classes and you know, some other shit. I got kind of bored with it because I'm real hard on people, man. Like, you know, I tell them motherfucker quick, man, you fat, man. But like here's the point. I used to have to look at a man's body and be honest with him. Like, okay, you said you want six pack abs, you got a big flabby ass gut. You say you want nice calves. Um, your legs is trash. You want good traps. Your back is weak. You know what I'm saying? I had to give guys a proper appraisal. Here's the deal. Look a motherfucker up and down and tell him, all right, motherfucker, you got a lot of work to do, man. You ain't like that. A lot of these niggas don't have a proper appraisal, and the things that they want to offer these women, the women really don't want. I'm be honest, they really don't want that shit. You know what I'm saying? They say that they want it. That's what they want from non-select guys. I'm be honest. From a select guy, they want some different things. So this conversation at some point is going to have to go in that direction. I'm sorry, man. The select and non-select, it has to be distinctions. It's not just Pookie and Ray Ray and everybody else over here. Nope, it's not like that. In every group of men, there are select guys and non-select guys. If it's any message that I want to convey here today, it would be that, you know, because that's what's being left out of these conversations, man. Um, there's no proper distinctions. I'll go back to what I said at the beginning of my video. How would you classify a guy like C Boogie, a guy from the inner city, joined the military when I was young, got my degree. I could talk to a hood chick. I can speak hood rap. I can talk that language. But I've also dealt with females with businesses. You know what I'm saying? I've dealt with high class females. I could talk their language. I know the Dom game they want. How would you classify a nigga like me? You know what I'm saying? And it's a bunch of us that's in the middle sitting back watching this shit like, yo, fam, I'm not invested in this Pookie Ray Ray shit, man. I'm not.
Look here, man. Can you hear me well?
Yeah, you fine, man.
The majority of the guys are like you and me, but they're the silent majority. The minority of guys are the ones that come to the comment section, spam the comments, and do all this other stuff. And those are the and like I said, I'm going to stop qualifying what I say. I've already my intro to my channel is going to basically let guys know I'm only talking about 80% of the men. That 20 to 30% who are going to automatically say I'm select, I'm ready, I'm down with self improvement. I'm just looking for the right cats and the right people to deal with. Then that then that 50% of guys who are like you, like me,
You know, back before I decided to do the self-improvement journey, I had the potential, but I just didn't know the path. I was open to it. I knew I needed to do something, but I accepted the accountability for myself. But that 20% of guys who, no matter what you say, no matter what argument you make, they're going to always be ready to fight against it, the anti-guys. Got no time for them. And it's smart business to not have no time for them. Because at the end of the day, they're disruptive. They serve nothing but chaos because they don't want to do whatever needs to be done. And that's fine. But I don't want, here's the thing, Boogie, real talk. I want, just like I talk about in my life, the women in my personal life are there by my choice. I don't deal with masculine women in my personal life. And I have F's in life just like everybody else. I'm a mediocre dude as far as I'm concerned. You know? But in my life, I deal with guys who I would actually vibe with. I wouldn't vibe with a lot of this shit online. When I try to talk to dudes I know in life about the shit going on online, they look at me like I'm crazy. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Gender war? What? And I'm talking about dudes, policemen, firemen, you know, dentists, accountant, factory worker. But all of these guys, one dude actually owns a damn fleet of a car service. But all these guys are selecting their own way. They're sexual alphas. They like, what? I don't see these problems. And honestly, I fault myself. I don't fault myself. I wanted to understand the other side of the argument. I wanted to be empathetic and at least try to see where they're coming from. But I have to draw the line. I'm not going to, just like Glendon Cameron said at the end of the year when he actually closed down his MGTOW channel, his Red Pill channel. He said this, I have moved past this. Damn, these roads in Oklahoma are fucked up. He's like, I've moved past this. And in order to talk to you guys, and in order to deal with you guys, I got to go back into a dark place that I have graduated from. You talk about your peace, right? And you'll kill a motherfucker over your peace. In order to deal with a lot of these dudes, you got to jeopardize your peace. And to what end? Are they really being helped by you jeopardizing your peace? Do they really want a solution? I don't think so. I think they just want to see the world burn. And I'll be damned if I stand there and watch it with them. Go ahead.
Facts. So my peace of mind, yeah, I worked hard at it. You know, a lot of soul searching, man. A lot of times I was very confused. So, you know, I definitely agree with Kevin. I told myself I'm not going back into a dark place unless I'm grabbing somebody by the collar and I'm pulling them up with me, and we, you know, that's it, man. You know, I'm not heavily invested into this Pookie Ray Ray educated lame shit. To me, it's a lot more nuanced than the people want to say. It is. It's a lot of nuances that's being left out. And I think if you're an honest guy, if you're a principled guy, if you can think objectively about it, then you know you have to bring up those points. You know, the conversation is it's not surface level. A lot of guys been hurt. Like Kevin said, a lot of guys want to see the world burn. I don't harbor those kind of feelings, dog. And you know what happens when you take yourself out of that situation and you tell niggas, yo, fam, I don't feel like that. Niggas get mad because you don't agree with them hook, line, and sinker, man. And it's like, nah, fuck that, man. Fuck that. Nigga, you don't know nothing about me. Matter of fact, y'all online niggas, I never met y'all anyway. So, you know what I'm saying? You gotta really get on some real shit with niggas like, yo, fam, what you want to shoot the fair one? You know, because you're getting uptight because I don't agree with you 100%. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna ride for your cause as hard as you want me to. You know what I'm saying? I ride for my cause, and I'm good with that. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to have half a black YouTube to agree with me all the time. I'm like, yo, as long as you don't misrepresent my message, I'm good. You see what I'm saying? I'm not going to align myself with hypocritical, contradictory statements for men or women. Not going to do it. I got principles. I'm a principled guy. You see what I'm saying? So, we're not going to drag this show out too long, man. But you know, I just want to bring a little bit clarity from what I'm seeing around here. You know what I'm saying? Some of this shit is pure entertainment. It's a fucking sideshow going on now. It's nothing but a sideshow. You see what I'm saying? It's really turned into a circus. And I'm sitting back laughing, to be honest. I'm kind of sitting back laughing because I'm like, yo, niggas is really that invested to where as though is guys are like, let shit burn or whatever. I'm like, yo, fam, the community is gonna do what it's gonna do. It's already emotion to go a certain. It's engineered like that. Yo, just let it do what it's gonna do. If you say you done with the community, just be done. You see what I'm saying? Just be done. But to me, you're not done if you're talking about it for 4 or 5 hours every day. You know what I'm saying? If I don't like kiwi, once again, my example, if I don't like kiwi because it makes the roof of my mouth itch, if I don't eat bananas because it makes my mouth itch, and whatever kind of fruit that I'm allergic to, I'm not talking about that shit. I mean, the nerve of you niggas, man. So to me, man, it's just like something is missing. Something is missing from this, man. I do know what it is. I know what it is. Uh, now, will these guys ever admit it? I don't really give a fuck. Let's just be honest. I don't really give a fuck, man. They ain't gotta admit it because you know what? It's a lot of people behind the scenes that are sitting back like, yo, this is some pure fuckery right here, man. This is some pure D fuckery. You know what I mean? So a lot of guys don't know when they being laughed with and when they being laughed at. That's a thin line. A lot of niggas are being laughed at. And it's like, yo, fam, you looking crazy in these streets right now. You looking stupid. So, you know, it just is what it is. You know what I'm saying? I want guys to get better. I want guys to deal with their trauma. I want guys to get the proper help. Whatever you got to do, reach out to guys. The dick watching got to stop. The dick watching got to stop. Another thing you got to ask cats is, yo, why you not dealing with bitches on your level, man? Why you not dealing with bitches on your level, dog? You know what I'm saying? If you a high class dude, why you keep fucking with these hood rats, man? Let Pookie and Ray Ray deal with the hood rats, man. I'm talking about mentally and hood rats that's still in the hood.
Man, I don't even ask the question no more. Honestly, I look at it this way. Really, a lot of guys have not had an appraisal. I said, you know what? Why don't you get an appraisal? Get 3 or 4 guys around who actually they know what they're talking about, and let them evaluate you. Let them tell you where they think you stand. Let the women evaluate you, and that's the real talk. Because you can be a societal, you can be a financial offer. You could be making in the top 10% of all earners. If you're a 6-figure dude, you're in the top 10% of earners. But that does not make you an alpha. Never has. So that's what a lot of dudes are pissed off about. They want women to basically say, hey, my degree, my education should basically buy me sexual alpha or select status. And it doesn't. It never has. So it needs to be something else. And that's where it comes down to. That something else is they don't want to do the work. I have rarely seen a guy who is actually out there in the gym, who's actually looking smooth, looking cool, smelling good, teeth right, who does not get played from women, who does not get choosing signals from women. You do not have to be a jawline nigga. You don't have to be hit the genetic lottery with your face. You can actually be a guy who's actually average looking. But if your body is together, bam, that is what women look at. But that means doing what? Getting your ass in the gym, banging it out. How many of these dudes actually want to do that? I mean, really, honestly, look at some of the guys who be upset all the time and say, what woman would actually choose this? Even better question, flip it. If you were a female looking the way you do, where would you rank? That's what pissed a lot of dudes off, because they're like, well, shit, I know I would be in the below average. Well, then what would you tell that female she would need to do to become more select in your eyes? And why isn't that shit applying to you? That's what it comes down to. Don't want to do the work. And I say more power to him, Boogie. I just don't have a message for him. My channel's not for him.
Right.
And I'm weeding them out. So if this bothers you, what I'm saying, and you subscribe to my channel, understand something. As long as your mindset is the way it is, my content is going to rub you the wrong way. Because today ends the day that I have to actually have to split the hair. Why I actually have to qualify things that I'm saying. I'm gonna just say what I mean, and if you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. You bang out in my comment section, act a fool, I'm gonna block you anyway, because it's not for you.
Yeah, man. Kevin, that's funny. Yeah. The work, gotta put the work in. You're not gonna get around that. Gotta put the work in. And what's going on now, a lot of shit is not even practical anymore. So let me give you guys an example of shit not even being practical and matching up with reality. So basically, the thought process behind some of these hardcore motherfuckers is, if I take a female out on a date, I'm a simp. But if I go fuck a sex doll, I'm a winner, right? Fuck that. It's just like, niggas is crazy. I'm not on that boat. I've heard guys with children. Let me say this again. I've heard guys with children confess that they will never fuck with a single mother. And I sit back like, that's not practical thinking. That's not practical thinking. The paraplegic guy. If you're paraplegic, by default, you are non-select. Um, it's a paraplegic guy out here complaining about black women. Now, I'm not trying to shut this guy down, but, and no pun, but you got no legs to stand on, bruh. No, 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 no pun intended. You got no legs to stand on. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry. you know. Yeah, Kevin, you beat it. But yeah, so that's just what I'm saying. It's like, yo, fam, why don't you have a proper appraisal? Why haven't somebody told you to fall back and be fucking happy you're living? You know what I'm saying? I hate to be like, I mean, look, you know.
But here's the thing. Why do we hate to be like this? If we red pill men, you can't be red pill and not accept the truth.
Yeah.
How can you be red pill and not accept the truth? That is kind of like, that's part of the package. If you're this dude, you know damn well you're not select. That's not a newsflash. And anybody who would sit back and tell you you are is lying to you. I'm more concerned with people who lie to me to make me feel good than somebody to tell me the truth. I've joined the Republican Party at 18 years old. And my theory was, I knew the Republicans had a reputation for not liking black folks and this and that, but I liked their view on small business and economics. And at the end of the day, I'd rather deal with somebody who I know where they stand on being black versus liberals who lie to me. Because behind my back, I've heard too many liberals crack a wetback joke or an Asian joke, and I'm like, yeah, when I'm not here, that's a nigger joke. I can deal with the truth because at least I can do something about it. See, what I'm offering, what you're offering, is a helping hand. Let me tell you the goddamn truth. You're non-select. Women think you're ugly. Women think you're women think you're corny. Women think you're goofy. They don't even want you as their friend. And that is not a death sentence. That just means you have to do extra work. Because there are dudes that look just like that or worse who are select. And that's the truth. Some of the most fucked up dudes I know in my fraternity are some of the most select men. They ain't pretty boys. They ain't jawline niggas. But damn, they got that it factor, that charisma, and they worked to develop it. They took what they had and they worked with it. Those are the dudes I want to talk to. The ones that just want to argue all day long, I got no time for you. Because in order to do that, I got to step down out of my nice life to be in yours, and I'm not even helping. See, that's the dudes you're talking about, you want to reach down and help them, I can feel you on that. You're a lifeguard in that regard. But the ones I'm concerned about are the ones that drag you down to their level and kick your ass with experience. And next thing you know, your world is looking as gray and as dark as theirs. Not going to do it. I've survived too much. You know, I haven't really gone in depth with my story, but I've told enough to let guys know that just because you see me in a suit, just because you see me this way, hey, man, life ain't been easy for me either. And I don't expect it to be. I expect it to come as it comes, and I can do what I can about it. But I'm a damn well do what I can. I'm not going to just sit there and complain about my situation. I'm going to let it hang there.
Facts, man. What's going on, Officer Josh? So that's just where we at in this thing. The conversations over the years in the manosphere have evolved. They and right now we at the point where I believe with this Pookie and Ray Ray shit debate really heating up once again, this was the perfect time to dive a little bit deeper into this whole thing. This whole educated lane piece, we need to dive into it a little bit deeper. And, maybe some cats don't know they non-select. Maybe some guys don't know that they're repulsive to women. Maybe some guys don't know that it's nothing about them that is sexually attractive. Like you say, Kevin, it's not a death sentence, but that's the reality. You see what I'm saying? Maybe some guys don't know because of those conditions. This is why women respond to you the way they do. You see what I'm saying? I've had bad experiences with women, but I can also look back and say, yo, my dom game was trash. Not all the time, but I can look back on a lot of situations I had with women and say my dom game was not on point. It was trash.
And that truth right there, Boogie, is what a lot of dudes see. A lot of dudes see that as weakness. And that is a tremendously liberating and powerful thing to say my dom game was trash. Man, I laugh at the story I told you about earlier today when I was on some blue pill simp sub punk ass shit. I laugh because I know I'll never be there again. I laugh because, God damn it, if that was in a movie, it would be some funny ass shit because I have grown from that. That's why I'm always leery of dudes who can't laugh at themselves, who can't laugh at where they come from. If you can't laugh at it, that means it's probably still on you. If your dom game was trash, you had to get better. And the reality is what you said. The world gives you what you are. You attract what you are. And that is what guys are getting upset about. Women respond to you the way they feel about you. And if you don't like it, you can't change the women. That's their nature. That's what they're there to do. Hypergamy has honestly helped mankind far more than it's hurt an individual man. Let me say that shit again. Hypergamy has helped mankind more than it's hurt an individual man. Dudes need to realize that, God damn it, you want a better life, you got to choose to do better. But at the end of the day, male nature is what it is, female nature is what it is. You got to choose. Being a man is a choice. It is simply a choice. Being a dominant man, being more of an alpha mindset, being select, whatever word you want to choose, is and always has been a choice. I only know one guy on YouTube that says he has never simped. I only know one guy on YouTube that says he's been alpha since he has been born, and I don't believe him. It's always a choice.
Facts. You know what I mean? And once again, man, um, what I'm gonna be doing over here on Sequence Productions, man, is just trying to push the conversation forward. Me personally, man, I can't be stagnant forever anyway. Um, in some of my first videos that I ever did, I even told guys, if I'm talking about the same thing next year, I'm a failure. And that goes for this year. So now I'm talking about gains. 8 months from now, if I'm talking about the same shit, I'm not doing anything. I'm not moving. I'm not evolving. So, that's just how I live my life. I did nothing but upload my personality onto the computer, onto YouTube, onto the web. This is not a front. This is not an act. This is not a facade. This is Boogie. You see what I'm saying? So, you know, so I don't have that kind of pressure to be anything that I'm not. The people that fuck with me, they fuck with me. The people that don't, they don't. It is what it is. I'm not invested in a lot of you Negroes bullshit. The hate that y'all got, I pray for you. Go do your shahada, whatever you got to do, but I hope you get past it. You're not gonna drag me down. You're not gonna fuck up my peace. You see what I'm saying? I just don't have those kind of issues to where as though is I have that kind of hate. Um, you know, so even at this point in my life, I deal with females in a certain fashion. You know what I mean? And that's just how we going. So
Hey
I'm
Boogie,
not
I gotta run, man.
okay. I appreciate you for jumping on, Kevin.
No problem.
Okay, thanks. So, but yeah, that's just where I'm at in this thing, man. So, I just try to be practical, man. I just try to be practical in my thinking. Try to focus on my own shit. And that's the message that I want to convey, man. A lot of guys is getting too uptight over this shit. And to be honest, I would hate for one of these motherfuckers to go crazy or some shit because it's not even that serious, man. You know what I mean? It's not even that serious. You know what I mean? Real talk. You know, it's a lot of y'all out there that's just like me, man. That's kind of like on the sideline watching Pookie and Ray Ray and quote unquote educated lanes. Can y'all hear me, man? Yo, y'all press one if y'all can hear me. Somebody press one if you can hear me, man. Hmm. Okay, we still choppy. Let me see. Static, still static. Still choppy. All right, if it's choppy, then I'm gonna go ahead and shut it down. Cause I don't know what's up with it. My internet is fine. Um, Somebody said I'm good. Okay, I'm good. Okay, cool. So y'all keep me posted, man, because I'm about to shut it down anyway. Got a couple things I gotta take care of. But shit, I forgot what I was gonna say, man. Oh yeah, there's a lot of cats out there just like me, right? That I kind of plan the sideline watching um the quote unquote educated lames and watching Pookie and Ray Ray sit there in a Mexican standoff. And I'm sitting here, static again. Oh fuck. Maybe I need to turn my camera off. Thanks for the $50 super chat, man. Um, all right, maybe now, man. I turn my camera off. Sometimes when I turn my camera off, I get a better sound, man. I don't know what the fuck is up with this shit. But am I good? Okay. So I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna bounce. Yeah. Like I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna bounce, man, because obviously it's choppy, but it's a lot of niggas like me. It's a lot of niggas like me that kind of fit in the category with myself. And we on the sideline looking at this shit like the nerve of you niggas. What is all this about? I thought it was about this thing. Come to think about it, it's about the women. The women is the focal point. Some guys say that they don't care about the women, but yet they constantly trying to get validation and attention from these women that they claim are not redeemable. I don't get it. But I'm gonna be diving into this shit a little bit deeper next time. I got some special guests scheduled to come on, and we're gonna get to the bottom of this shit. Um, Me personally, I have no issue being uncomfortable. That's the only way you grow. You know what I'm saying? I have no issue making another motherfucker uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? If they don't like it, stay the fuck away from them. Because this is how I'm rolling. I want to get to the bottom of this shit. You know what I'm saying? I want to get to I want to get to the bottom of this shit. But I want to salute everybody for showing out, man. Thanks for everybody for super chatting and supporting the movement, man. Each one teach one over here, man. Shout out to the Dom Game Division. You know, I got a Patreon exclusive gonna be dropping in the next 2 days. I'm working on it now. So but that's what we got planned, man. You know what I mean? Just moving forward gains. You know, that's just how we doing it, man. You know, um, let the evidence speak for itself. I'm gonna say that again before I leave. Let the evidence of your life speak for itself. You ain't gotta do a lot of talking. Be about that action, boss. Be about that action, boss. You shouldn't have to do a lot of talking. You know, um, it is what it is, man. Never you niggas. All right, I'm out, man. Peace.